Aita for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after my parents disowned me? I honestly don't know if I'm being petty or if I'm finally just standing up for myself, but my entire family is acting like I'm the worst person alive. So here we go. I, 28F, have a younger sister, Emily, 24F, who has been the golden child in my family for as long as I can remember. Growing up, she was the perfect daughter, straight A's, involved in everything, always showered with praise. Meanwhile, I was the kid who got good enough grades, stayed out of trouble, and just existed in the background. If Emily wanted something, she got it. If I wanted something, I was being difficult or selfish. It's been like this my whole life, and I've honestly just learned to deal with it. Emily is getting married soon, and she asked me to be her maid of honor. To be honest, I was surprised she even asked because we're not close. She's always been distant toward me, and I've always been treated more like an obligation than an actual sibling. But I said yes because I thought, why not? Maybe this would be a chance to bond, and if nothing else, I figured it would be easier to just go along with it than to deal with the inevitable fallout of saying no. Well, fast forward to the actual wedding planning, and it became very clear that my role wasn't really about me being her sister. It was about me doing things for her. She expected me to help plan everything, run around doing errands, and basically dedicate my life to this wedding. She and my mom started planning a pre-wedding family trip a week before the wedding, which they expected everyone to attend. It wasn't optional. It was mandatory for the sake of family bonding. I told them early on that I wouldn't be able to take that much time off work, but I'd still come to the wedding and do my part as maid of honor. That wasn't good enough. My mom and Emily sat me down and gave me this whole speech about how this is the most important moment of Emily's life and how I need to be there to support her fully. They told me to think about the bigger picture and how family should come first. I told them that while I understood this was a big moment for Emily, I wasn't willing to upend my entire life for this wedding. I have a job. I have my own life. I can't just drop everything for a week-long trip on top of all the wedding obligations. That's when my mom told me that if I wasn't going to be there 100%, then maybe I shouldn't be there at all. I asked her if she was seriously telling me that if I didn't go on this trip, I wouldn't be welcome at the wedding. She told me I was being selfish and that my attitude was exactly why the family struggled to be close with me. Then, my dad chimed in and said, if you don't want to be part of the family, that's your choice. At that point, I realized this wasn't just about the wedding. This was about every single time I'd been pushed aside in favor of Emily. Every single time I'd been expected to just suck it up and be okay with being treated like an afterthought. So I told them I was done. If my presence was so conditional, then they could have their perfect family event without me. Cue absolute chaos. My parents freaked out, telling me I was being dramatic and making everything about me. Emily started crying, saying I was ruining her wedding over something so small. I got messages from other family members saying I should just do it for the sake of family harmony and that I was being ridiculous. My aunt, on my mom's side, is the only person who actually took my side, saying that she's seen this favoritism play out for years and she's proud of me for standing up for myself. Now, my parents have basically cut me off. They told everyone that I refused to be there for Emily, and now I'm getting the cold shoulder from most of my extended family. Meanwhile, Emily has fully replaced me as maid of honor and even made a passive-aggressive Facebook post about how she's grateful for the people who truly understand the meaning of family. Now my parents are backtracking and saying I should come to the wedding to fix this mess because my absence is causing division. But at this point, I honestly don't even want to go. They made it clear how little I matter to them, and now they just want me there so they don't look bad. So, AITA for refusing to attend? Should I just go to keep the peace? Or am I right to stand my ground? Update. My parents and a big chunk of the family are getting ready to leave for the pre-wedding trip soon, which means things have been weirdly quiet. No over-the-top guilt trips, no dramatic, passive-aggressive messages about preserving the family harmony, just pure, unadulterated radio silence. I'm guessing they're too busy with last-minute packing and planning to keep up the pressure on me, which, honestly, has been a relief. That being said, I've started getting messages from some relatives who had no problem ignoring me a few days ago. Suddenly, my cousins are checking in like nothing happened, and my mom's sister, not my supportive aunt, the other one, sent me a long-winded message about how family disagreements shouldn't last forever, and how I should just let this go for the sake of keeping the peace. At first, I wasn't sure why they were all suddenly reaching out, but after talking to my aunt, I think I get it now. My parents have clearly been doing damage control behind the scenes, trying to keep everyone on their side before the wedding. They've had a few days to spin their version of events, but now that they're about to leave, they're realizing they won't have as much control over the situation while they're gone. That's probably why some of these relatives are suddenly reaching out to test the waters and see where I stand. So, I've decided I'm going to respond, but not yet. I'm waiting until tomorrow, when my parents and Emily are officially on their trip and too distracted to jump in and twist the story immediately. Once they're gone, I'm reaching out to everyone on my parents' side. The ones who ignored me, the ones who are suddenly acting friendly, all of them. And I'm not going to argue or explain myself. I'm just going to send them the exact messages my parents sent me when they told me not to come. No extra commentary, no justifications, just their own words. I don't expect everyone to suddenly take my side, but at the very least, I want them to see the truth before my parents try to twist things even further. I'll update again once I see how that goes. See you in the next one. Update 2. Once my parents and Emily were officially on their trip, I knew it was time. I had to reach out before they got back and had the chance to twist things even more. So, I sat down and made a list of every single relative on my parents' side who had either gone cold on me or outright ignored me since all of this started. Some of them had sent me passive-aggressive messages. Others had just stopped responding altogether. These were the people who had clearly believed my parents' version of events without question, and if I was going to get the truth out, I had to do it now, before they could be manipulated again. I didn't send some big emotional explanation. I didn't beg for sympathy. I didn't even try to defend myself. All I did was send screenshots, the exact messages where my parents made it clear that if I wasn't going to drop everything for Emily's wedding, then I wasn't welcome at all. No extra words. No added context. Just their own words staring my relatives right in the face. And then I waited. I thought it would take a while for people to respond. Maybe I'd get a slow trickle of replies over a few days, some hesitant, some half-hearted. But nope. Within minutes, my phone started blowing up. The first call came from my uncle, one of the people who had originally told me to think about the bigger picture and not let one argument ruin my relationship with my family. When I answered, he sounded angry. Not at me, at my parents. The first thing out of his mouth was, "What the hell? This is not what your parents told us." Apparently, they had made it sound like I had voluntarily refused to come, that I had decided I didn't want to be part of Emily's wedding just because. They never mentioned the ultimatum. They never admitted to cutting me off. He said he felt lied to and that he was going to have a conversation with them when they got back. My parents hate being confronted, so that should be interesting. Then there was my mom's sister, the one who had originally told me to be the bigger person and let this go for the sake of the family. Her response was short at first. I didn't realize it was like this. Then, a few minutes later, she sent another message. If I had known, I wouldn't have told you to just move on. So, yeah, she backtracked fast. Then the cousins started chiming in. One of them admitted that they had distanced themselves because they didn't want to get involved in family drama, but after seeing the messages, they felt bad for assuming my parents were telling the truth. Another one literally said, "I'm sorry, I just assumed you were being difficult because that's what your mom made it sound like." That one stung. I mean, I get it. My parents have spent years painting me as the difficult one, and it's easier to believe the person making the most noise. But at least they were willing to own up to it now. And then, of course, there were the holdouts. A select few older relatives are still refusing to acknowledge that my parents did anything wrong. These are the ones who just can't admit they were wrong, who will defend my parents no matter what because, in their eyes, family is family. One of my aunts actually had the audacity to send me a long paragraph about how weddings are stressful and people say things they don't mean. I shut that down real fast. I told her that this wasn't some heat-of-the-moment frustration. My parents cut me off and then lied to everyone about it. That's not stress. That's a deliberate choice. And if she still wanted to make excuses for them after seeing the proof, then I had nothing more to say to her. But the best part? My parents and Emily have no idea this is happening.
Not
A clue. They're off on their pre-wedding vacation, completely unaware that the family they thought was blindly supporting them has now seen the truth. No one has warned them. No one has given them a heads up. As far as they know, they're coming home to a family that fully supports them and thinks I'm the one who abandoned them. I don't know what's going to happen when they realize the narrative has flipped while they were gone. But honestly, that's not my problem anymore. I've cut off the people who refuse to see the truth, and I'm keeping the ones who actually care. They wanted me out? Well, congratulations. I'm gone. No more contact from me. They can deal with the fallout by themselves because I've got a radiation suit.